I will now have the pleasure of calling on Dr. Tony Agbons, who is an academic, a researcher, and a lecturer at Anglia Ruskin University. Dr. Tony.
Yes, thank you, Sosa, and a very good evening to everyone. I'm sure I'm the last speaker, and I'm really glad because most of the groundwork has been done by my very erudite and articulate speakers. So I can as well close shop and we take a bow. Yeah. In fact, I was telling my wife this morning, I said, I hope I'll be the last speaker so that people would have done all the work. I would just take a walk. Yeah. Really good to be here. I think a lot has been said already about diversity, inclusion, and equality. So, like I said, it's been made quite easy for me. So I'm just going to do a brief overview of diversity, inclusion, and equality. But my main area that I'll be speaking on is the pillars and benefit of diversity, inclusion, and then equality. So that is actually my core area that I'll be focusing really on. So I don't want to start going on and on. So other speakers have talked about diversity. Is all about bringing people from different strata of society. As you can see here, this is a very diverse group of people. My earlier speakers have defined this, so I'll just take a walk. The same thing with inclusion. For me, inclusion is all about fixing up the jigsaw, like this puzzle rightly has shown. This is one of the model that have been developed by the Society for Human Resources here in the UK. So when an organization, when a community, when a society is able to treat people fairly, with respect, I could very well relate with what Dr. Debo was talking about in his presentation. I've worked in organizations, even when I was in Nigeria, and I went to another place where they speak a different language from me, and sometimes people don't treat you with respect. They're moving over to the UK. I've experienced that as well in some previous place of work. And they don't want to even hear what, they don't want to know the content of you as a person, and they just look down on you. But inclusion is all about having respect and showing respect to people so that they can be able to contribute their measure to society or to an organization. But most times people confuse diversity and inclusion. Most times this happens, but the two of them are almost the same, but there's a clear demarcation. Also, Yemisi talked about this. So diversity, these are the natural traits that we are made with, natural God-given characteristics that make us as human beings unique. But inclusion is a set of behavior and social norms that ensure that people feel welcome. So this welcoming bit is really, really important. So any business organization, any society that is able to do this actually develops more. To be honest, and to be fair to the UK, I would say that there's a lot of inclusive. There's a lot of attempts to make sure that our society here is quite inclusive, but a lot still has to be done. Then equality. This one we show this for those of us who are in academics or involved in HR. We always show this image. This is equality, irrespective of your situation in life. Every individual should have an opportunity to make the most of their talent and their life. To be honest, I would actually prefer equality, equity. This is one area that I have been actively involved in society and community, and even in my writing. Like this image here clearly shows that. So I think at the level we are going, 21st century world, we should actually be going into equity, but this is a different subject area in itself, but it's one of my very soft spots. So, but before I just briefly itemize the pillars and the benefit of EIE, DIE, I just want to, just give us some of these shocking statistics. This is in the UK here. Only 2.6% of people on the UK tech boards are of ethnic minorities. People with Chinese, India, or Pakistani sounding names, in fact, we actually have added African names, are 28% less likely. I think one of the speakers already mentioned this. They are less likely to be invited for an interview than candidates with English name. We've had experiences of people that said, people even suggested that, oh, change your name so that you can easily get jobs and all that. This is not peculiar to the UK alone. It's very, very common even in some other societies. But it's one of the ways that people are being discriminated against. All BAME groups are more likely to be overqualified than ethnic white groups. So this is very common. And this one, 1.78% of large UK companies pay men more than women. This is not right at all. So 1.70% of they pay men more than women for doing the same job. We see this a lot. And it is really shocking that there is no sector in the UK at the moment that pays women more than men. So it's an area of very high discrimination. Mm-hmm. So the pillars of DI and E. The first one is leadership education. I've always said this in some programs, seminars I attend. I said, be it a CEO or a front desk worker, receptionist, customer service, everyone requires leadership education. Every human being deserves to be valued for what they can offer. Secondly, employees need to be celebrated, their differences. It is our differences that actually make us unique as humanity. So this needs to be done. We need to listen to people. I always allude to the fact that the reason God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth is that we listen more than we speak. So this is very, very important. So it makes people feel included and gives them a sense of very high belonging. Effective workplace meetings. Some meetings are not effective. People are not given opportunity to talk. People are not, given enough room to share their ideas. And then goals need to be communicated. For a business organization to succeed, the goals need to be clearly communicated, and progress should be equally measured. And the final bit of my presentation, my talk this evening, is the benefit of diversity, inclusion, and equality. I always put a Q when I write this, when I break this thing, because I don't want it to look like dying. So I always put a Q just to make it a bit sweet for me. Number one benefit is that research have shown that ethnically diverse companies are 35% more likely to yield higher revenue. And gender diverse companies are also 15% more likely to yield higher revenue. And the reasons for this is very easy. When you have a diverse workforce, they all bring different skill sets. They all bring different intellect. They all bring different transferable knowledge to the table. And this has a way of impacting on the organization. This is really very, very important. Similarly, a recent BCG study, that is a consulting group, showed that when an organization or even a society is diverse, there is always innovation. There is always innovation. one of the speakers also mentioned this, with diversity, there's a bang on impact on recruitment and retention. People want to work in a diverse, in an environment where they are valued. They want to work there. There is a new market capture. My bias in academics is marketing. So this is really, really very simple to understand. Where you have a diverse workforce, they all will float into, they all will go into their different backgrounds, and then customers will come in. And this ultimately will lead to high increased revenue and a good grab of the market share, and the company will be very, very profitable. So because of time, I will stop here. And like I always say, c'est fini, and thank you very much for listening. Thank you.